Hello, my friends. Welcome to English Vibes, the podcast that helps you learn real English slowly, clearly, and naturally. I'm Paul, and today we have something special for you. It's not just a story, it's a legend. A story that has lived in English hearts for hundreds of years. Today you'll listen to the story of Robin Hood, a brave man who lived in the green forests of England. He was known as the man who stole from the rich and gave to the poor. But more than that, he stood for justice, friendship, and hope. This episode will help you. Listen and understand real English pronunciation. Learn new words and phrases used in stories. Practice speaking English through shadowing. Feel the rhythm of natural English storytelling. So, sit back, take a deep breath, let your mind be calm, let your ears be open, and let the English flow through you like a peaceful river. Now, before we start the story, let me give you a little background. Hundreds of years ago, in the country of England, there were forests so deep and green that people said magic lived inside them. One of these forests was called Sherwood Forest. Inside Sherwood lived a man named Robin Hood. He was not rich, he had no castle, he had no gold, but he had a heart full of courage. He was strong, clever, and kind. Robin Hood had many friends. People who followed him and trusted him. They lived together in the forest, away from the greedy rulers of the land. They were called the Merry Men. Together they fought against injustice. They helped poor people who were treated unfairly by the king's men. And they shared everything they had. Robin Hood's biggest enemy was the Sheriff of Nottingham, a cruel man who cared only for money and power. The sheriff wanted to catch Robin Hood and end his kindness forever. But Robin was too smart, too brave, too free. This story is not just about fighting or stealing. It's about helping. It's about courage. It's about standing up for what is right, even when it's not easy. As you listen, don't try to translate every word. Just feel the English. Listen to how words connect. Repeat the short sentences with me when you can. This is your practice. Your time to think and speak in English naturally. All right, let's begin our story. The Legend of Robin Hood.
The morning sun shines softly through the green trees. The forest is alive with sound. Birds singing, leaves moving, and the wind whispering. Robin Hood walks quietly through the forest. He wears a green cloak and carries a bow. His eyes are bright and his smile is calm. He stops near a small stream and drinks water from his hands. Then he hears footsteps. It's Little John, his best friend. "Good morning, Robin," says Little John. "The sheriff's men are in the forest again." Robin smiles. Then is a good day for an adventure. They laugh softly and begin to walk deeper into the trees. The next morning, the forest was cool and quiet. A light fog covered the ground, and the sound of birds filled the air. Robin Hood stood near an old oak tree, listening. Little John whispered, "The sheriff has sent his men again. They're searching for us." Robin smiled softly. "Then let's give them something to search for." He lifted his bow, calm and ready. His arrows were not made for killing. They were made to warn. From far away, the sheriff's men walked noisily, stepping on dry leaves and snapping branches. They thought they were clever hunters, but in the forest, Robin Hood was the master. Suddenly, an arrow flew past one man's hat and stuck into a tree. The man jumped in fear. Then another arrow, this time with a note tied to it. It said, "Go home." You are lost in Robin Hood's forest. The sheriff's men ran. Robin laughed quietly. Let them go, he said. Fear is a lesson too. Little John smiled. You could have caught them. Robin shook his head. Better to teach than to hurt.
Now repeat after me slowly. The forest was full of fog. Robin shot an arrow. He warned the sheriff's men. Good, you're speaking clearly and calmly. Now listen next part.
One bright afternoon, Robin was walking near a small wooden bridge over the river. As he stepped onto it, another man appeared from the other side. He was tall, strong, and carried a long staff. Let me pass first, said the man proudly. Robin smiled. Good sir, this bridge is narrow. We cannot both cross at once. Let's see who deserves the way, the man laughed. And how will we see that? Robin picked up a wooden stick. With a friendly fight, he said. They both stood on the bridge, balancing carefully. They hit each other's sticks, not to hurt, but to test strength and skill. The man's stick struck Robin's shoulder, and Robin's stick hit the man's knee. They laughed. Then the man swung hard. Splash! Robin fell into the river. The man laughed louder. Robin climbed out, dripping wet, and laughed too. You fight well, friend, Robin said. What is your name? I'm John Little. Robin grinned. Then we shall call you Little John, and you shall be my right hand. And from that day, Little John became Robin's most loyal friend.
Now repeat slowly after me. They met on the bridge. They fought, but they became friends. Little John joined Robin Hood. Good, now try this one. Sometimes friendship begins with a fight. Nice rhythm. You're doing great.
Not far from Sherwood lived a kind and brave woman named Maid Marian. She had known Robin long ago, before he became an outlaw. One night, Marian came secretly to the forest. She wore a dark cloak and carried food for Robin's men. When Robin saw her, his eyes softened. Marian, he said quietly, you shouldn't be here. The sheriff's men are everywhere. She smiled. Then I'm in the right place. You help others, Robin. Let me help you. Robin looked at her for a long time. He saw courage in her eyes. The same courage he once had before he lost his home and name. You are still the bravest person I know, he said. That night, they talked beside the fire. Marian told him about the people in the town, how the sheriff had raised taxes, how poor families were losing their homes. Robin listened silently. Finally, he said, Then we must act again.
Repeat after me. She wore a dark cloak. He decided to act. They spoke beside the fire. Perfect. Calm voice, natural tone.
The sheriff was angry. He wanted to catch Robin Hood once and for all, so he made a clever plan. He announced a contest, an archery competition. The winner, he said, will receive a golden arrow from the sheriff's hand. Robin smiled when he heard the news. It's a trap, said Little John. I know, said Robin. That's why I must go. He dressed as an old man with a beard and a brown cloak. When he arrived, no one recognized him. Arrows flew through the air. Twip, twip, twip. None came close to the center. Then Robin's turn came. He took a deep breath. The crowd watched. Whoosh! The arrow flew straight into the middle of the target. Perfect. The people cheered. The sheriff's eyes went wide. He knew that only one man could shoot like that. Robin Hood, he shouted. But before his soldiers could move, Robin disappeared into the crowd, gone like a shadow. Weeks later, Robin and his merry men planned their biggest act yet. They learned that the sheriff was taking gold from the people to deliver to the prince. Robin's men waited near the forest road. When the sheriff's wagon passed, they stepped out, bows ready. "Good day, Sheriff," said Robin. The sheriff turned pale. "You again?" Robin smiled kindly. "We'll take this gold, not for us, but for those who need it more." The merry men shared the treasure among poor families across the land. They left no one hungry, no one forgotten. The people of Nottingham whispered with joy, "Robin Hood lives." Autumn came to Sherwood Forest. The leaves turned gold and orange. The air was cool and smelled of pine. Robin Hood stood on a high hill, watching the wind move through the trees. Little John came to him and said, "There's news from the town. The king has returned to England." Robin turned slowly. "King Richard?" "Yes," said Little John. "The real king. Not the greedy prince. He's back." Robin smiled, but his eyes looked serious. "Then the time of hiding is ending." That night, the merry men gathered by the fire. They ate roasted meat, sang old songs, and shared stories of their adventures. The forest echoed with laughter, but also with silence between the songs. Robin knew that change was coming. Soon he would have to face the world again.
Repeat slowly after me. The forest smelled of pine. The men gathered by the fire. The forest echoed with laughter. Perfect. Calm, natural rhythm.
One cold morning, Robin Hood and his men heard the sound of horses. They looked through the trees and saw soldiers, but their flags were different. It was the royal banner of the king. Robin whispered, "Stay hidden." The king rode forward, dressed simply, without his golden crown. He looked around the forest with a calm face. "Where is Robin Hood?" he asked. Robin stepped out slowly from behind a tree. "I am here, my lord." The king looked at him. "So you are the man who has stolen from the rich?" Robin bowed. "I have taken only what was unfairly taken from the poor." The king's eyes softened. "You speak with courage. Many men fear the truth. You do not." Then the king smiled. He took off his gloves and held out his hand. "Rise, Robin Hood," said the king. "England needs men like you." The merry men cheered. Little John smiled wide. Marion, standing nearby, wiped a tear from her eye. From that day, Robin and his friends were no longer outlaws. They were protectors of the king's peace.
Now repeat this. He bowed before the king. He became a protector. England needs men like you. Excellent. You sound clear and confident.
Years passed. Sherwood Forest grew quieter. The merry men built small homes near the edge of the woods. Robin and Marion often sat together under the great oak tree. They talked about the old days, the laughter, the danger, the friendship. One evening, Robin said, "Do you miss the adventures, Marion?" She smiled softly. "Sometimes, but I like the peace more." Robin nodded. "Peace is the greatest treasure we ever found." They watched the sun set behind the trees. The forest was no longer a hiding place. It was a home.
Now, my friend, let's take a moment to learn not just English, but also from Robin Hood's life. Every story hides a lesson. Here are 5 lessons we can take from Robin Hood's journey. Lesson 1. Stand up for what is right. Robin didn't fight for himself. He fought for others. Even when the law called him a criminal, his heart stayed pure. Repeat. Do what is right even when it's hard. Lesson 2. Be kind, even to your enemies. Robin never enjoyed hurting anyone. He believed kindness could change hearts faster than fear. Repeat. Kindness is stronger than anger. Lesson 3. Stay calm under pressure. When danger came, Robin breathed deeply. He aimed carefully, thought clearly, and acted wisely. Repeat. Stay calm, stay clear, stay true. Lesson 4. Value your friends. Little John, Marion, Friar Tuck, and the others. They weren't just followers, they were family. Repeat. Alone we can be strong. Together we can be unstoppable. Lesson 5. Give more than you take. Robin gave away gold, time, and safety, but he gained respect, peace, and love. Repeat. When you give, you grow.
Let's do a final shadowing practice. Short, calm sentences. Listen, pause, and repeat after me. Robin Hood lived in Sherwood Forest. He helped the poor and stood up for justice. He was brave, but also kind. When the king returned, Robin was forgiven. Peace became his true treasure. Now, repeat this final reflection. Like Robin Hood, I will be brave, kind, and wise in my journey.
Perfect. My friend, thank you for listening. Remember, English fluency is a journey, not a race. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to keep moving. Listen, repeat, shadow, and feel the language grow inside you. If this story helped you, like it, share it, and subscribe to English Vibes, because every day we learn English through stories that touch your heart. I'm Paul. Until next time, keep your courage, keep your kindness, and keep your English alive. Bye for now.